Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. You are totally going to sound like a wanker. Okay.
You're going to sound like a wanker.
Yeah, I know.
You're catching me on a Monday, too. It's like the worst day of the week.
Really? You have a good day of the week?
Monday is the worst day of the week.
Why?
Fucking life.
That's too bad. Okay, so welcome to Shooting It Raw.
Which picture did you choose?
Hold on, we'll get there.
No, which...
Jeez, I don't think people want to hear us bickering.
You're going to say, to tell me about the picture, I'll be like, which one did you choose?
We'll get there. Listen, don't worry about it. Okay, fine. Listen, I'm here as both as a guide and a facilitator and host. We will talk about things. Go.
What? Go for it.
Oh, it's going to be one of those conversations. Okay, so welcome to Shooting It Raw with me, Ran. And today, my guest is my sister, Yael. And she's awesome. She's amazing. We're going to find out a little bit about Yael because I think she has a lot to say. And she's the one question she's asking is, what is it? What's the question? What is the picture I chose? No, but the picture I think were the two that are really good.
What is the picture?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
So the two photos. Okay, first, I think the one that you did of the selfie, when you're in the office was like COVID-19, which I think speaks to the past month or 2 months, which have been crazy. And the other photo, just for fun, is you doing another self-portrait with a much better camera, I have to say. And me using your phone in the background to make a self-portrait of, I think, my nostril or my tonsils.
Of course, it's your camera. Of course, it's much better than mine.
Okay, so... how about you describe the photograph of you that you made in the office? Like, what are people going to see when they we have to describe what people what the content of that photo is? So go ahead.
So that picture was taken about a week ago when the U.S. was kind of grappling with the idea that coronavirus, COVID-19, was kind of taking its hold in the U.S. And it was we were looking at it from afar for the last 2 months. And I can honestly say that looking at it from afar and seeing that it was in China and halfway around the world, I was really kind of relaxed about it. It's a viral flu. It won't be so bad. And then once it started spreading and coming over to the U.S. and it started impacting my day-to-day life at work, we, as healthcare workers, we were trying in that moment, I was trying to spread the word that coronavirus, COVID-19 is coming, like winter is coming and we need to strap down and get ready. And as healthcare workers, I was just trying to kind of spread the word that we don't have equipment and we're not ready and we're being lied to and kind of get ready for the long haul.
Those are strong words. Lied to?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, is it a conspiracy?
No, I mean, we were just told for a long time it's not a big deal because we feel, the United States is a capitalist society and money talks. And if society is told that we're going to have a viral pandemic and everything has to shut down, then people kind of lose it and the markets fall. And so I think for a long time, we were told that everything was going to be fine just because money was more important. The markets were more important for a while.
Wow.
And I'm guessing that happened to a lot of places, but definitely in the U.S.
Okay, so in the photograph, so for example, here's what I saw when you sent it to me. So basically you're holding your phone, I guess, at arm's length, photographing upwards. So your face is at it's basically a portrait, self-portrait. Yeah. And on your face what's on your face?
Only N95 mask. Yes, it's the only one that I have available to me. It's on my face, and I'm wearing my only goggles, clear goggle protectant on my eyes, so on my face.
Okay, why are you wearing goggles?
Why am I wearing
why
protective goggles in case some kids... I can hear you.
Okay. But in case some kid sneezes on your face. Okay. Let's...
So I'm wearing the goggles on my face.
Okay, no, stop. We have to stop.
I'm a pediatric, so in case a kid
stop.
sneezes in my eye.
So explain why you wear the goggles.
In case somebody coughs or sneezes, it's not in your face, because the virus can either enter through your nose, your mouth, or your eyes. So you have to protect everything.
Okay. Maybe to sort of let the people know a little bit, who are you? Like, who are you to tell me what to do?
So I am Yael Elfassy. In the medical community, I'm known as Dr. E. I'm a pediatrician. I've been practicing pediatrics since 2010, so it's been a decade.
So your suggestion now, your professional suggestion, is for people to wear goggles. And now, when you made the photograph, was that before your day began, at the end of the day, or like?
Oh no! So my suggestion is not for everyone to wear goggles. It's just for physicians or respiratory therapists or nurses who have to care for patients with coronavirus. They should have the protective equipment that they need, such as goggles or masks. So that picture was taken right before I went into a room with a patient who had a fever and a cough.
Right.
So just to kind of make sure that I kept myself protected.
And I'm assuming you have protocols for the receptionist and the people who kind of first the intake of the patients.
Yeah, we've tried to put them in place, but they're changing day to day. There is sometimes there's resistance as to how to get things done, but everyone's kind of going with the flow, trying to adapt. We're learning new things as we go, so we're just adapting day to day.
Mm-hmm. One of the interesting things, I think, in this time, okay, so we are right now speaking online. I'm in Hong Kong. God damn notifications. Damn you. Is that me?
Yeah, that was you.
God damn it. Okay, so one of the cool things the insane things that have happened in the past couple of months. And originally, so right now we're recording this separated by the Pacific Ocean and basically the continental United States, because you're on the East Coast in Georgia, and and I'm here in Hong Kong, which is miles away. But originally the idea was that I was going to record this sitting next to you in your garage, because I was just there. And why don't you discuss, I want you to sort of recall, because this is kind of tied into you finally making that selfie of going like, COVID is coming. Right? So
it was, I believe it was a Thursday night, so it was a Friday morning for you. And you told me, hey, so I'm here walking the dogs, and I think I'm going to come to Savannah, so I'll see you in 48 hours. Bye. And you just hung up. And I was sitting on my couch. I was like, what, wait, what? And I texted you back, and you didn't respond. And I called you back, and I said, what are you talking about? And you responded that, well, we're in pretty much lockdown mode, and Cadence, your daughter, who's on the first podcast, is out of school for the next 4 weeks. So I thought, what better way just to hop on a plane and I'll come see you in Savannah. And so you arrived on a Sunday morning, and it was pretty crazy, but a really great surprise. And we enjoyed, you said it was 7 weeks together?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was a pretty great 7 weeks. We had a really great time, and our daughters got to play together and get to know each other. You and I got to know each other since, being siblings and being so far apart. really our conversations only happened once a month, and sometimes it was really quick, like a 5 to 10 minute conversation. So now we had 7 weeks to kind of get to know each other. And then the selfie that I took, I had no idea what you were doing behind me, but we were at
This is the second photo
the second picture. We went out for some barbecue with the fam and introduced Cadence to some good old Southern barbecue, some meat, lots of meat.
Yep.
And then I just took the camera and just started playing with your fancy camera and taking pictures of everybody. And the last person I didn't take a picture of was me. And because, you have to take pictures of me. I'm important. And so I flipped the picture around. And I just took a selfie. And then afterwards, you showed me what you were doing in the background, which was, I think, taking a picture of your nostril or the back of your tonsils. I can't remember. So that was that picture. It was great. Well, it actually looks like you're licking my phone.
I probably was putting my germs all over that phone. Yes. Yeah. So note to the children that are listening, make sure your parents clean their phones.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because coronavirus probably was present in the community while you were here.
Oh, really? In Savannah? Really?
I'm thinking we weren't testing for it.
Right.
And so, but we were still living life normally, touching everything, going to playgrounds, licking phones. So it's kind of funny how everything shifted so quickly.
Okay. So in the background, I'm developing this podcast, thinking, originally I was thinking I'll try to launch in say February. We'll say February. I have to record a bunch. But then what ends up happening is, the coronavirus, all this craziness. So hop on a plane, land. I knew and I saw and I experienced what was going on in Hong Kong with the panic buying and the fear and the sort of the lack of information and lack of clear policy from government. Because one thing that I've noticed, every single nation has a government that's being criticized for how they're responding to this. And in a way, I think that's a natural thing that people are just like, oh, the government's screwing up. But people are kind of just figuring out how to respond. And, so anyway, so me landing in Savannah where it was life as usual, this was basically, I just left Hong Kong where things were going crazy and apeshit. So then after 7 weeks, and I was just like, okay, well, things in Georgia are starting to turn, so maybe I should leave. And so what has your experience been in the past? So for example, I Delian and I, we took the decision that I'm just going to go tomorrow. Now, so now that you've kind of hit that I don't want to say frantic pace, but the sort of the high alert situation, where are you guys?
So currently we are, we're still living in the past, so to speak. So we are still not testing enough. And so I think where we're at is the kids are out of school. Some people are working from home, but up until yesterday, restaurants were still open. They've had to, it's a state by state situation. And so they've decided state by state what to do. Some are completely what they call shelter in place, which is kind of a lockdown or full quarantine. Other places are saying, okay, well, maybe we'll just close the bars. And so it's been a step-by-step process because they don't feel like Americans will truly follow a full quarantine. And our country is huge. It's like telling all of Europe to go down into quarantine. So it's being a state-by-state solution. But since you've left, every week it becomes a little bit more intense. I think the week that you left, people were saying, okay, let's start washing our hands. And then it was, okay, we'll start washing your hands and start, just elbow bumping and just, look each other in the eye instead of giving each other a hug. And then it became, okay, well, now stay about 3 to 4 feet apart. And then it became 6 feet apart. And then it's like, well, don't hang out if you're more than 100 people. And now we're down to 10, and just recently down to 3 to 4 people. And so now they're shutting down gyms and theaters, and I think restaurants just shut down in the state of Georgia today. But it's not a clear policy. And the biggest, I think, difference between the U.S. from as a physician standpoint and other places in the world that we've noticed is there's this thing that physicians are saying, which is demand. We need PPE, my PPE, which is protective equipment and personal protective equipment. And so what we've noticed is in other countries, they have all this gear, they have their heads covered, and they have full masks on their face and N95s and face shields, and they're in hazmat suits, and we have nothing. Our government is saying reuse the masks. Using a scarf around your face is totally fine. Reuse the same gown all day. Just put it in a bag at the end of the day and take it back out. So I think that's the frustration in the United States is that we've been watching what's been going on, and we've had time to prepare. And I can say that I was also one of the ones who's like, it's fine. It's just a virus. And now we're seeing, oh, it's a little bit worse than that. So we're I think we're trying to keep up.
Right. Well, to be, devil's advocate, and also this is what I was saying, in a way, the criticisms and the sort of the reactions from government and everything, because everybody's also learning. Right. So Hong Kong had a really good experience from SARS. So people already had had gotten over the hump of wearing masks and all that stuff. And I know that, that you have the Guaylo Western sort of person who walks around going, well, I'm impervious, so they don't wear masks. And, Delian certainly criticizes me for being a little bit flip, I guess. But so one of the things that happened, that I noticed in Hong Kong at least, is that it's just been slow to roll out the material, right? So, for example, if there aren't enough masks, and if there aren't enough, there's not enough, PPEs, maybe they're being made and they just need to be distributed, and so that's part of the challenge, right? And the U.S. is huge, and where do you supply the materials? Because in a way, it's kind of like, it's like whack-a-mole. It's like, there's a case in Seattle. Okay, let's just send some stuff to Seattle. And then, wait a second, it's in Alabama. Okay, send some stuff to Alabama. And then, so I think what's happening in the U.S. is kind of just a large-scale version of what happened in Hong Kong. Because at first, actually right now, the most recent laughable measure was that the chief executive said, restaurants and bars should no longer serve alcohol because, alcohol makes people more prone to getting intimate. And it's kind of like, okay, what? First of all, people are going to fuck if they want to fuck. Like alcohol, sure, but like what? So anyways, that's a funny little okay, So
well, you're more likely to touch your face if you're drunk, so maybe that's why. I don't know. Okay. But anyway,
don't
touch your face.
That's a funny, it's a funny way of people reacting. So let's go back to because this, let's go. I'm going to pull us back to photography a little bit. You do have a nice camera. You have done nice things, photographically. You're laughing. But
because why do you choose your iPhone?
No, it's a great camera. Hold on. This is interesting. This is part of what makes shooting it raw, I think, real and relevant, is that everybody's got this incredible camera now. And so in a way, there's a saturation of images. So you have, I'd say, in Savannah, a pretty clear place in the community. I won't say you're a celebrity because it's not, not at that level, but people do know you, and part of what you use like cameras for, either through social media or whatever, is to kind of communicate your ideas. So you are very active on Facebook and others. Well, just Facebook, and you definitely have a position, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't want it to be like kind of a sort of a wonky question, like, well, how do you feel about photography? But it's more like, how do you feel about photography?
I kind of don't really enjoy the pictures of the landscape as much, but I like to have, Charlie and Noah in it, mm-hmm. or, just pictures of the family or right. friends or things like that. Or so
like me licking the phone.
Or just you licking the phone, yes, because mm-hmm. I feel like that to me means so much more than that building through a waterfall. And I still enjoy those kinds of pictures, but looking back now, whenever I look through the albums, I just love looking pictures of the girls and of the family, and that's just kind of what I use photography for now.
Sure. I mean, people are more interested in photos of people because we are curious about one another. Okay, that's a big one. So, zip it back again. So before, so I don't know if it got in the recording or not, but you had mentioned that. So one of the images that I was thinking of using was of you at the march with the painter who makes the paintings with the poetry on top or whatever it is. Maybe you want to talk about that.
So in 2016, when Trump was elected president, there was a large women's march in Washington, D.C., and three other friends and I decided to just hop on a train and go to the march, which was insane. There were so many people that day that we were just stuck in one spot. The whole idea of a march is to march, and we were just stuck in one area for about 5 hours. And we were just surrounded by millions of people. And it was just, you would think in a space where you feel so claustrophobic and you can't go anywhere and there are no bathrooms and it's cold, that there would be a little bit of shoving and pushing and a little rudeness, but it was a really great experience. Everybody was really kind, even though you truly had nowhere to go. So everybody from Savannah who went, which was I think about 120 people, had a personal picture made from an artist in Savannah called Panhandle Slim. His name is Scott Stanton, but he goes by Panhandle Slim. And what he does is he takes a portrait, he paints a little portrait, a personal portrait of the person, and then puts a quote. So mine was Eleanor Roosevelt, and it said, "Remember, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And so everybody had their own personal picture and quote, and we carried them around. And so the picture that there is pretty much, I think it was 20 or 30 Savannians who finally congregated all in the same place, which was very difficult to do. And we all got that picture holding up our signs. So it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, for sure. And Panhandle Slim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he make what you had mentioned just when we got on the call was that he had just sent you an image?
I have made it. I have made it in life because I have become a Panhandle Slim image.
So it's you in the image.
Mm-hmm, it's me.
Respect.
Yeah, he does these cool projects every once in a while where he decides to, there was a mass shooting in South Carolina a few years ago in the church, and I think 10 people died in the church. I can't remember exactly how many people, but he went ahead and he painted a portrait of each person. He interviewed their family and found a quote that they said or something that they live by, and he brought those portraits to the church and he just donated to them. And so that's kind of what he does. If you drive around Savannah, you will see randomly, and it's usually in more in poor areas, they'll have images of either police officers or, maybe a child who was involved in gang violence, and he'll figure out a quote from them and he'll just hang it there to inspire people. And he just tries to kind of bring some good. So his newest project has to do with coronavirus, COVID-19, and he's trying to find healthcare workers or teachers or people who are struggling or working or trying to make a difference. And he's kind of creating this new series. So I'm part of it.
That's awesome. Hey, listen, is it okay for me to include that image in this pod? Yeah. Because I want to give him some respect as well, because they're cool. What do you think the world's going to look like once the dust settles?
Exactly the same.
Really? How bleak.
I'm a little bit of a cynical, maybe. I'm a realist. I don't think people are going to change. I think that right now, you're hearing stories of people enjoying hearing the birds again in Wuhan, and the waters becoming clear in Venice, and the pollution levels dropping, and families enjoying family time. But I think we're in a rat race. And I think that once the rat race starts again, we will all fall back into our normal ways. We're a slave to the dollar bill. So I think once everything kind of starts rolling again, we'll be right back at it. That's
an interesting observation. Okay, so here's one of the things that I've seen. Okay, so in Hong Kong, it's been going on for longer. So we are where you will be potentially in a couple of months, or probably less. It'll be different. It has to be different. At the end of the day, these people still need the workers still need to kind of work in order to earn their living, because the employer, in order to pay them their wage, has to have some kind of economic. Like we're kind of watching the economic engine of the contemporary world come to a really intense hard stop. And so I don't know. I don't know if it'll just be the same afterwards. And as maybe the rest of the podcast, we should talk like the Québécois, like people from Quebec, because we came from Quebec,
But if you think that things will change, I will wait for you to prove me wrong.
Well, let me tell you something. It's when I was in America. America is, as soon as you land, and you will attest to this one. I went on a shopping spree. Now Hong Kong is all about shopping and is very commercial. But then when I got to America, you're like, hey, Ran, slow it down because you're spending too much. You're buying
slow it
too
down
much.
As C. It wasn't just slow it down. It was slow it down as T. Well, no, this even I'm still spending, Well, my coffee shop is probably going to close, so I had to buy myself a cappuccino maker. And
no, but hold on. But what about? So when I was there, remember there's the whole economic thing of there's the issue is that when people stop buying stuff, it's going to grind the economy. And it wasn't you who shared that with me, of this thinker or whatever, this commentator who said that it's not only the health scare that's important, but it equally is the economic. Yeah. So,
well, which is why I don't think that the U.S. can do what Hong Kong and Wuhan and Italy is doing. I really don't think. I think that the money-making wheel that has to turn is much stronger than the concern for health. And we saw that today in Georgia. So, the governor, instead of having to decide to do a total shelter in place, he has changed to say the elderly and medically fragile should shelter in place. Meaning that and that's what I think it's going to come to in the U.S., which is if you're in the category of elderly or immunocompromised, then you should isolate yourself. And the rest of the U.S. will probably have to keep on working and ticking on. I really think that's what it's probably going to come to, because the U.S. is going to have to make a decision at one point as to what's more important, the economy and what they're seeing as a virus that's going to take hold of 70% of the population. It's just a matter in how much time.
Right. But so in Hong Kong, just as for some, I don't know, counter perspective, businesses are still running. People are limiting how much they're going, but, and everything is way slower. But, there are restaurants. Well, in Hong Kong, people eat out a lot more, I think, and don't really cook in as much. But so is that a cat? There must be a cat. Is that your cat or my cat?
No, that's your cat.
How many cats do you have?
I have 2.
Yeah, how many cats do I have?
You have 6 now, I think.
5. Let's just relax. 6.
5.
I have 5 cats. How many dogs do you have?
Pebbles is the new cat.
Yes, the new cat.
I have one little greyhound.
Yeah, and isn't she sweet?
She is practically a cat.
She is practically a cat. Totally useless. Greyhounds are useless. They can't hike.
They cannot hike. They are the sweetest dogs. I have to say.
Yeah.
I am going to put a plug in right now for greyhounds.
Yes, please do.
Because if anyone is looking for a dog and they're like, I have a busy life and a busy schedule, but the kids are hounding me.
Pun intended.
Hounding.
Like it.
And we'll get a dog. Really consider a greyhound, because they're all coming off the tracks and they need a home, and they are the easiest dogs to own. And they're just super sweet. So in the course of 3 months, Nala, the greyhound, has gone from sleeping out of the crate to being in the house all day to not having any accidents, getting along with a cat, getting along with the kids. And these are dogs that have never been introduced to regular human life, never seen, a ball, a couch, a rug. They don't know anything. So it's pretty phenomenal how great they are.
I have to admit.
Plug over.
Yeah, no, all the way, 100%. Okay, so I have 5 dogs. And they're all rescues, and they're all mongrels, and they're all big hikers, and go for forever. Not to say that mongrels are necessarily healthier or anything like that, but that's what I'm used to. So coming to your place and having this beautiful, incredible animal like the Nala is just like as a greyhound. What a beautiful animal! To essentially only need about 1 or 2 kilometers. That's about a mile of walking is amazing. I mean, if you're really somebody who can't put too much time because you have a busy life, although now with the COVID virus, maybe you do have enough time to walk your dog.
Yeah, we have all the time in the world to adopt a dog right now.
Sure, that's why we adopted another cat, because this is an ideal time to introduce another cat. So so that's that. So greyhounds all the way.
They're really, they're great. And maybe we'll get another one, but for now we like our Princess Bambi, as we call her.
Mm-hmm. Going out to Savannah was such a treat, because in a way it's like, okay, I luckily can remove myself from Hong Kong and bring Cadence over to Savannah for, to sort of shelter, to be like a kind of like a health scare refugee, right? And then. So that was really unique and special, and so I'm just trying to put your okay. So for kids who are that age, you're a pediatrician, right? So for kids who are, say, I personally think that below 7 or 6, most kids don't remember very much. So it's almost not. It just doesn't matter what you do. Take them to Disney, they won't remember. So who cares? Don't even bother. But for like at this age of 7, 8 and up, how are you? What are you seeing in terms of kids, in terms of their emotional reactions to what's going on around them? Like, for example, a kid comes in with the symptoms. Are they terrified? Are they?
Most kids are pretty resilient.
That's my side. My side. Sorry.
Most kids are pretty resilient. I would have to say that most of the kids that are coming in to see me.
Fucking cats. Okay, go ahead. Just keep going. Try to have a conversation.
All right. Take two.
What, resilient?
They're pretty resilient. They're coming in mostly thinking that, oh, I'm out of school. I'm not getting to see my friends, but this homeschool thing, being home all the time, it's only been going on a week. So it's kind of cool. Maybe in another week or so, because again, we're kind of still on the slope up. We're just starting to get test results in. We're just starting to see the number of deaths kind of increasing. So I don't think they're in that fear yet. My daughter, Charlie, she is a little more of the cautious type. And so she's already been like, is coronavirus here in Savannah? Is it here? She's washing her hands. She's making sure that grandma and grandpa don't kiss her. She's making sure that she's following the rules. And so some kids are like that, I would say. But yes, they definitely start to become more aware of their surroundings. I think that Charlie will remember COVID-19, the time of coronavirus. Noah, who's 4, will not.
For
She'll
sure.
have no clue. Yeah.
How would you describe yourself as somebody who has a lot of patience? No. You couldn't even answer the question. I couldn't even ask the question. Just get on with it. Nice.
No, I do not have patience for stupidity.
But hold on, slow down.
That?
Wait. So it's okay. Stop. Okay.
No.
No, but hold on. But it's not a question of stupidity. Like there's a learning process, right? So people have to somehow, like, the ideas have to chew through their brains and their biases and whatever. And so, so it takes 72 hours because, the commandment from, Goddess Yael of what should be done, it takes 72 hours.
Well, it's twofold. There are, I guess, 2 issues to this. Yes. And, it's a slow system in the sense that change takes a long time. You have to wait for a meeting. The meeting needs to be approved. The thought needs to go through,
it might even take 4 days.
No, yes, but 4 days in when you're dealing with health and when you're dealing with things that are changing
like
all
a pandemic,
the time.
Yeah.
But in a pandemic, yes, 4 days is a huge. Lots of things happen in the last 4 days.
Yeah.
So what we're doing today, we should have done 4 days ago.
Sure.
And then the second issue is, so one is the board things, but this is the biggest thing, and we're definitely seeing it become more evident. And being in one of those groups where I think there's like over 10,000 physicians in this one group from all over the world, is that we're noticing, especially in the U.S., that physicians have lost I wouldn't say their power, but we no longer have a say-so in medicine. Our day is filled with little clinician work and a lot of admin work. And in all of that, where they've just buried us in paperwork and coding and mundane things, we've lost our ability to actually practice medicine. And so this has become extremely evident and clear that as physicians, we've lost a lot of the power that we have in making any decision making. So it's been an eye-opening experience. And hopefully in that way, like you said, like, what do you see after coronavirus? I hopefully see doctors and nurses and medical professionals taking back medicine, because that would be great. Taking it away from insurance companies and CEOs and millionaires and billionaires.
So you're speaking right now like a real American with the problem of what is in America.
I am an American who is a Canadian.
Yeah, so
that is where I'm coming from.
In Canada, you wouldn't quite hear it in quite the same way, or would you? I mean, are you connected to the Canadian medical community to know?
Yeah, so it's funny. So a lot of Canadians want the American system until they hear what the American system is, and then they go, what? What are you talking about? Wait, so you have to pay $600 to $1,000 or more a month, and that doesn't give you anything other than just a checkup. And then in order to actually get covered by your insurance, you have to meet the $10,000 deductible. So really, before you get any sort of medical care, you have to pay about, let's say $600 a month. You have to pay $20,000 out of pocket every year, and every year it resets. Yeah, wow. That's how it is. But I can get my surgery tomorrow. When they hear that, they go, "Oh, yeah, I'm okay with waiting, 2 months to get my, I don't know, to get my knee done or to get my prostate checked. Sure, why not?"
Okay, maybe Brad can check your prostate.
Maybe he can't check mine.
For free.
For free.
Shooting it wrong with Elfassy.
Ending on the prostate note.
Yes,
we
can. This is such a weird time for everything. All of a sudden, everybody's gonna have to take a breath and say, okay, maybe now is a moment to redesign what wasn't working. So what are the stages? The first one is denial. The second one is...
we just went over this with a friend.
Anger?
It's denial, I think anger, yes. And then bargaining, and then depression, and then acceptance.
Right. So I think Hong Kong is in, depending on the policy, is at acceptance.
So we're in denial.
Really? No, yeah, but sooner or later, people are going to start getting really annoyed. People are going to start getting really pissed off. And so, for example, I can hear a little bit of the anger creeping into your speech. But maybe this is a kind of an opportunity for yourself, for all of us to kind of think, oh, okay, well, maybe now we can design a better system, which is probably what's going to happen.
Maybe we'll all become socialists.
Listen, as a Canadian, you understand what it is, Arrête-moi ça. You're getting on my nerves, see? A little bit English. I kind of feel like if you don't understand what we're talking about, it's on you,
It's on you, Esti.
If you don't understand...
C'est tout ton problème, là. C'est pas le mien.
Yeah, c'est ça. No, mais, if you speak like that, the French would be really annoyed. You shouldn't do it. But what I'm saying is maybe instead of saying, oh, I don't understand what you're saying, and it's pissing me off, you say, okay, maybe I go out, I have the time, I'll go out and learn French or something, It is up to you. The onus is on you to fix your own life,
I will fix it.
Yes.
I'll fix it.
Yes.
I like my life.
Yeah, no, you have a nice life. You have a very nice life.
Thanks.
Savannah is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we had fun having you.
Thank you. It was really cool.
How do we end this?
All of our conversations end with that the question. Ran, how do we end this conversation? Can we stop? Okay, I have a question. People who hear this and are saying, hey, you know what? I kind of like what that was about. If you have any websites that you think are useful, like Skid Row Jalopy, what's his name?
Panhandle Slim?
Yes. Or anybody you want to promote, send it my way.
Okay. I think any person who wants a nice getaway, Savannah's it. I mean, it has everything for the young bachelorette, and then it also has something for, old or... I think I know lots of people who just came to visit Savannah and then ended up moving here.
Thank you so much, Yael. We will have you back on this podcast because you're fun to talk to. And this was great. Thank you.
Stay clean.
Stay clean.